Hello, everyone. I'm your host and anchor, Abner Dice, and I'm here to welcome each and every one of you on behalf of ET Edge for yet another episode on Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, where we bring you leaders who are bringing an exceptional change in their organization. Mumbai, a city that never sleeps. Mumbai, a city that never sleeps, is always awake because of that cutting chai. I remember every time I went out of my organization to have that cutting chai with my friends, we never spoke about work. All we spoke was of life, friends, relationship, family, sports, and a lot of other things. Well, my dear friends, Cutting Chai Stories is a series of candid conversation where we bring you leaders who are inspiring. My dear friends, we are here to know from these leaders what inspires them and motivates them in their day to day life. And with me, I have someone who is a dynamic yet humble and a delightful personality. Mr. Kersey Tavadia, who is the CIO, Chief Information Officer of Bombay Stock Exchange. Now, Mumbai is known for its cutting chai, but Mumbai is also known for BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, which is Asia's oldest stock exchange. And ladies and gentlemen, my hands together, everyone, for the dynamic personality on screen, Mr. Kersey Tavadia. Hello, sir, and welcome to our series of the Cutting Chai Stories. Firstly, sir,
Thank you.
let me understand from you. You have an amazing name, Kersey. What does the name
Kersey.
Kersey mean?
It's pronounced as Kersey.
Kersey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Kersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Kersey mean?
Honestly, I have never tried to find the meaning in my name. I just enjoy the name, whatever was there.
Yeah, like someone once said, what's in a name? Just live it.
Live it.
Super. Yes, sir. So I want to understand from you, you're a very busy personality. And what does a day in your life currently look like?
At the moment, we like my day starts at around 6 o'clock in the morning and ends around 12 in the night. So, and that's Monday to Friday. And Saturday, Sundays are even more busier than Monday to Fridays because Monday to Friday I devote totally to my professional life. Saturday, Sundays to my, I would say, social. It's not a social life, but society's life. I would say, like doing some
Society's
social
life.
work,
Wow.
like
Okay,
that.
now that you've said
For
social,
some social.
yeah. So what kind of social work interests
So
you?
basically, I am also manage our Fire Temple Trust as a trustee. Like also, it's an institution that also has to be managed. So it's more to be connected with the other world. So it's like a service to the community. So 2 days in a week, I also try and do some work for them also.
Oh, lovely. With God being the center of your life, I think, sir, now this deserves a high five because even I believe in God. So, sir, an high five. There we do it. Yeah, one big high five. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. All right. So, now that you've already reached the heights of success, and once they say, success is always an exercise. Now, let's go back. Let's rewind a bit. If you were to go back in the early years of your childhood, school, or later college, these are the formative years. What were your ambitions and what you really wanted to become in life?
Honestly, I learned in the school called Sir JJ. It was basically a charity school. And right from my childhood days, I was inspired by the founder. And he was a philanthropist. And it was a childhood dream. Maybe I didn't know the meaning of that, but I always thought that someday I will become a philanthropist.
Oh, wow. So who is this philanthropist that you looked up to?
So he was named as Sir Jamshedji Jijiboy. Like you have the JJ school.
Correct.
All the JJs, it is actually meant for Jamshedji Jijiboy.
Correct.
So you have JJ hospitals, you have JJ School of Arts.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Okay. So they were the guys who gave so much to the community and India. Right? Because from the humble, it's not what they gave; it's from what they had and what they gave. Like, no. So
No,
you are
absolutely. I
behind.
believe with you. Correct. Because you know what, we are almost at the same line. So I'm a student of St. Xavier's College, which is in Fort. And, I know of JJ School of Art. All of us would come together at that one chai adda. And, we would have that chai together. So I exactly know. And what a pleasure for me to have you, tell this. Super. Well, I also wanted to understand from you, they say the best investment is on ourselves, over the years, the investment that you've made in yourself. What are the teachings that you've gained, and in what ways have you invested in yourself to reach the position you're in right now?
One of the main things I would say it's continuous learning. I never felt that I was educated enough. So it's like when you passed out high school, you wanted to go to college because everybody went to college.
Correct.
Then maybe you got a college, everybody wanted to do a job. So I thought maybe the job was a must because at that point, but again started doing my part-time MBAs along with the job. And then I did some other courses also. So all along, even if you're in a profession, like in the profession which I am in, you are outdated every 3 years.
That's right.
Okay, so it's basically you need to do continue. So you keep learning, and even today I keep learning a lot. I keep reading a lot. I keep doing R&D a lot, or the new topics and the new things. So even today, so I'm quite, I would say, on the latest trends and technologies. I'm quite an R&D person. Like I like to do a R&D myself, so it doesn't matter. Failure doesn't bother me much.
Super, super, super. That I already know that you're so motivated. I must also ask you, I'm sure you've received a lot of professional advices. That one professional advice you've received from someone, and what would that be?
It was a funny thing, like a few years back, like everybody had this wish that I also wanted to go abroad, and go abroad and work. Why? Because everybody's saying you're wasting time in India. Like you should try abroad. So I also quit my job here and went into Middle East and tried to stay there for a couple of months. And whenever I was talking to people, and there the working was that I'm basically a free-natured person. I like to do things my way, and the kind of way I have been brought up, and the way I've been working. So though I was getting a job, like that guy who was there, actually I don't remember his name, but I think so. He helped me in my future, I would say. He said, "You're wasting your time here. I think you should not go. You should go back to India." Nobody would tell a person who's come for a job and say, "Yes, you are in this, but this is not the place for you." He said, "I think you will be better placed and more successful in India than you will be here." And for a moment, I thought that he wants to demotivate me, so that I walk away. But maybe today, if I see on the hindsight, I think that was the best. Otherwise, I would have kept struggling there. And so, honestly, I don't remember his name because he was just one of the headhunters or something like that. I would say that's our placement guys who are there.
No, I mean, sometimes some people come to you in your life like angels.
Yeah, he just said, "You go back to India. It's not, this place is not meant for you." So I said, "Fine." Yeah, and like I said, the rest was history. Then today, where I am, because I'm in India, I've been having a free hand to do whatever I wanted to do. And I'm quite thankful to God for that.
Wow. Wow. Now I have no words to speak after what you've spoken now. Because, like you say, some people come in our lives like angels. You don't remember the person's name. At that point, you felt that, he was someone who was demotivating you. But today, you're in search of that person that, wow, where are you? It just changed my life. Super. That is what Cutting Chai Stories is all about. We cut across and, we know people much better. Now, we are in hard times, Mr. Kersey. And hard times are for everyone, not just people in India, but all across the world. But I'm sure there have been hard times in your life before. How have you overcome these hard times to the person that you are right now?
See, there have been many hard times, when you feel cheated by some people, even in professional life, I would say a lot of people get demotivated. I personally felt let down by the very, very senior people in the organization to an extent that I had resigned from a job. It's basically sort of, I would say this is a real life example that I wanted, when you're working in group companies, group A, group B, group C, sort of conglomerates. And you feel that there is a better opening or better chance in another company. And I resigned actually. And as a protocol, I trained the person who was supposed to take over a position. And I was doing my course for a betterment so that it could be used in the other company. And this was all mutually agreed at the CEO level. Okay. And I had already like interviewed my replacement and trained it. And this was the kind of. And then when I went after a month or so, like because since I was studying, I had taken a break, a 2 months break, and then I went to the new company. Said, okay, now let's get me the letter and let's formalize things. I have done my job. And then suddenly the HR said, this is not going through because there are certain protocols missing and this and that. So I felt very let down that I could not tell the guy who was already on my job to leave the job. Right? Right? So how do you deal with such guys? Like, I never bothered about it. Actually, I said, fine. Since I wanted to do something different, if not with your company, I'll do with somebody. It was like, and I just went out. And nothing happened after that. Like I was back on my own. I felt bad about it for a day or a week or so. And then you just move ahead. Like, you don't keep thinking about it. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. Many such incidents happen. Like even some, again in profession, most of the time it was professional life, I would say. Bad times were more on the professional side. Okay. People do misunderstand you. They misread you. They think you are not fit because maybe A or B passes some wrong comments about you because you are not so favorable. If you are not a talkative person, you might be looked otherwise also. So it's important to like lessons that I've learned is to keep not to take everything at face value. Like though you trust the person, but get your things in writing always. I mean that is a lesson I've learned. After that, I had learned it was a hard way of learning lessons. Like, you take your appointment letters, take everything in writing, and then put your try and train somebody. So these were hard times, but I have never felt bad. Once I lost my ESOP also. Like ESOP is so very important in person's life. Like when you work so hard, just because somebody passes a wrong comment about you, and they say we don't think you are eligible. And specifically when you're working with multinationals, this becomes a big issue. Even I was there, like somebody made my immediate boss was a multinational. He was from a multinational. I would not like to name anybody, but at a point in time when I asked him, so what is the issue? Why am I not? He said, no, I have come to know that this and this is, you're not done this, you're not done this. My simple question was, did you ask me? Somebody told you, and you believe. It's simple. I came and asked you. You could have asked me. I said, no, but this is official source. I said, that doesn't matter. But now what? Now it's already damage done. Like I said, nothing matter. I kept on working even harder and I used to prove to him that whatever I'm doing, does he know about it? So it made me work even harder than what I was working. At one point in time, that fellow came and told me that I'm leaving and I'm apologizing, but I'll try and fix whatever loss I have made it. Maybe I got my ESOPs a little later by work from wherever me. But what I'm trying to say is there's no point in fighting or taking a revenge on somebody. I've never fight and taken, he did bad to me, so I'll take a revenge and I'll to set it right. Once you start doing this kind of work, you lose your path and your morale. So just forget about it and just you keep doing what you wanted to. That is what I've been doing. So even if I'm let down, even if today also somebody, if my bosses tell me, for me, it's like I have to do my job. That's the way I believe and keep doing it. It doesn't matter who speaks what, how, why. It's just that you feel bad for a moment and then you're back to square one. You're back to your job. Because we love your job. We love what you do. These things are just like, it's part and parcel of your professional life, I would say.
Absolutely. In fact, I must again say a big wow, because you know that one thing that I actually took up from you right now is being persistent and not giving up. You did not give up. So what year would that have been? You know, when you had to make that hard choice, hard day. Yeah.
At least maybe more than 20 years back.
See, 20 years, you know, the whole message going out here, you never gave up.
Yeah.
Persistent and really, I mean, I look up to you now at this age.
Yeah.
Super, super, super. I mean, so much to learn. Now this question is a little offbeat. You know, if your organization gave you a 3-day paid break to rest and recuperate, what would you do in those 3 days?
Just grab it and run away where mobile networks don't work.
And which would that place be? I'm going to join you too. uh, uh, no, but where would
Today
that
you are,
place be?
today you are almost like a bonded slave to the phone. So unless many times I've tried to switch it off, but you always feel that hope something does not go wrong. Like, that's something when you are not, when you're running responsible for running the exchange, like there's always something at the back of your mind. Right?
That's right.
That you should be available on call, though you are, so that always keeps you thinking something at the back of your head always.
So wow. So like the 3 days, if the organization gave you an off, you'd run to a place. Number one, you would run wherever, you would switch your phone off. Correct? That's something for sure. Yeah. Now let's break this up. So which place would that be if you had to go? And who would be the person that you would want to spend time with? You would want to go alone, or would it want to be your family, or what? And
With
how?
my family, alone, I'm not a lonely family. I don't like to go out alone anywhere. Like not so much. Generally, I would always go with the family. I don't like to wander alone. Like it's very stupid. I feel.
Wow. How many members in your family, sir?
We are 6. Like I have my wife, my 2 sons, my 2 daughter-in-laws, and now I have a grandson.
Wow. And they've got a lovely, strong father. I must call you the godfather, sir, of this industry. Super. Well, my next question comes up to what are the people management and leadership skills that are essential for any leader?
Firstly, I would say is ability to hear to or listen to your people. It's very, very important to hear your people out, because they might tell you something and they might not tell you something. So you should be able to read or understand what they're trying to say. Many a time they say something, but they're trying to mean something. This only comes from, I would say, experience, and it's not easy. But it's like you can, after one statement, you know what are the 5 statements which is he wants to say, but he has not said. Right? So you can make that out from the person's conversation. So I think that's an ability that you learn, because once you know what you're talking, and because I've seen in professional life, you may not solve all the problems, but at least if you give them a lending ear, you hear them out, be compassionate with them. I think 80% of your battle is won. Like the person is confiding in you, he knows that there is a person who I can talk to. Maybe I will not give him a solution, but at least the comfort is there for somebody. That at least you can empty yourself out with somebody, because it's very important that you blurt out something, or you don't keep it within you. Even in an organization, whether it's professional, personal, you definitely need a go-to man sort of thing. And I wouldn't say very good, but at least I'm a good go-to man. Like a lot of people do come to my colleagues, my peers, even my people who work in my department for so many other. It need not be always a professional issue. Okay.
Correct.
So it's just that very important. And then practice before you preach. Like what I was saying is, again, it's not just a good. I strongly don't believe, like once upon an Indian tennis had a non-playing captain. I don't know how many, whether you guys remember or not, but we used to have a non-playing captain in our Indian tennis team once upon a time. And I always found it very funny, even as a kid. Like, how can you have a captain who's not playing?
Correct.
So you definitely, if you are being a captain, you have to play your role as a player yourself. So you can't be a captain and just be a captain and not play.
Correct.
So like in sports, it's very evident. Like today, unfortunately, our cricket team does demonstrate, like those leaders also, if I see, like they also play the role and also do the management part of it. So even these leaders have to do, whether you're in IT or whatever the industry, you should know your subject very well, so that people look up to you for knowledge also. It's not that only for administrative purposes. So that's why I said in the beginning that I have to be quite well read. Okay, because only then you can direct your team. You may not know the nitty-gritties of a particular problem, but at least you know how to solve a problem. You can guide your people where to look for solutions to the problem. You may not be the solution, or you may not give the solution, but at least you can guide them to the solution. I think so. once you do that, I think so people will find their way up the ladder.
Absolutely. I think what you could take out is being a good leader, rather a compassionate leader, hearing out to a lot of people and, because there are problems all across, but when you're that good leader, you give that shoulder, I think people become more strong as an effective captain. Correct, sir? That's something that I think is another learning that I'm going to take off from you. And now let's go back to your younger years. What are the best memories from our younger years?
I'm that way. I've got good memories of my school, like my first year of my school, then my first year of my junior college. Then the first time when I went out with my wife for the first movie, like there's so many.
I'm loving this now. So what was
And
that movie? So let's talk a little bit of that movie. What was that movie? If you remember the movie.
I remember it was called "I Am for the Hippopotamus."
Oh, yes.
I don't know. So those days, like we used to go from college, so we did not get time to go in the night shows or evening shows. So like, there's girls had to be home by 7 o'clock. So
that's right.
There was no other choice but to go to 3 to 6 or matinee. Like that's what that. And so those were the days. Like I mean, I enjoyed it. Like there's nothing wrong. Even my first day at school, I would still remember my classroom where it was, where I was, and once in a while I still visit my school. Of course, now the location, the classrooms have been modified, but at least you feel your connect when you go there. You feel that vibration. Like I mean, that's the kind of connect I have with my own school. Like even if I go in there, even today, I feel I can bow my head over there. Like, I mean, that is the kind of the effect that school has given to me. Like, it was that's where you learned the life's lessons.
What is the name of the school?
It was called Sir J.J. Fort Boys High School.
Achha, okay.
So that's why I say that's also in the fort. Okay, so we were not very financially well off, so we learned. So we know what is charity. We know when somebody pays your fees, how good you feel. Somebody gives you. I mean, after doing all this, it's time that I'm paying back or doing whatever I can. I'm not saying I'm good, but to the best I can, I try to do. I mean, that's one of the lessons I have learned and from another well-respected person in our community. I also look at him like he's almost 85, 90 today, around that age, but still works. And once he told me that you should do all your work as if there is no tomorrow. So try and complete whatever you want to do in your life, finish it fast and keep doing it. Don't wait that I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe you leave it incomplete. Okay. And if you want to study, keep studying, because if you're going to live forever, so you will not be unlearned. I mean, these are the two very, very, I would say, it's a contrary, but gives you quite a good way of living life.
Correct.
So that's what keeps you active, motivated, whatever you want to say.
Correct. There's so much. I mean, I'm learning so much from you. I think 20, 25, 30 minutes, 1 hour, I think probably a lifetime spending with you would be so much of learning. That's what, the team has that confidence from you. I have one last question before I wrap up, this session. And this question is something that is close to my heart. And it also will be close to your heart, sir. What is your mantra for success?
Very simple. It's just hard work, and hard work.
It's just hard work, and extra hard work. Just hard work. Lovely, sir. Lovely, sir. Would you want to speak anything else on what you feel, sir, about life and beyond life? Because at Cutting Chai Stories, we talk of leaders. We don't talk of work. So if you've seen, we've never spoken anything about work, but we've spoken of things which are beyond life. One message that you'd like to give the youngsters, probably the organization or upcoming entrepreneurs or people who are working in corporates, one message.
I have found that one has to believe in yourself. Okay. Have a belief in yourself that you can do it. I think if you believe in yourself, you can do this, you can do it. And if you are waiting for others to make it happen, it will never happen.
Never happen.
But if you have a belief that yes, I can, it will. So So whether it is as an individual, as an organization, it doesn't matter. If as a company also, yes, we can, it'll, we just will find means to do it.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And I wish you all the best for your organization and personal life, family life, everything. Like before I'm going to end this, sir, you know what? I love your personality and I'm going to do a punch out, sir, with you. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, super. Yeah, on the screen, sir, on the screen. A perfect punch out. I'm loving this vibe, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hoping to see you soon, sir. Thank you so much on behalf of Economic Times, the Cutting Chai Story.